there, viewers, it is I, Avangel, and welcome here to Headcorn by Burning Blue Designs as we take a look at today's latest aircraft release, the Sopwith Camel by Captain Sim. And I can't keep this up, so we're going back to normal. Hi, guys. Yes, this is Captain Sim's Sopwith Camel. Now, I know what you're going to say. Fair enough. But I will say, given that we had the Albatross recently as well, and that wasn't entirely bad, I'm not against these options. So I'm willing to give it a try and see what it's like, because I think it is not a terrible aircraft. And we had the Spad as well from Captain Sim, which had the option to swap out your machine guns for wine bottles. Fantastic. But we also had the Albatross released as well. And now we have a Camel. So that makes 3 World War I aircraft. I wanted to give this a crack and see what it's like. I will take the hit for you. This is about $12 right now on their website. It's on discount from $20. And it says it has 8K liveries, we see here, including a house livery. Authentic cockpit layout and instruments, functional gauges and controls, high-res textures. We have a fitting flight model, we'll see. A manual, when you can find it. Repaint kit, not bad. Support for usual features. Exterior is a good model, apparently. We'll have to see. Let's get on with this thing now. Sopwith Camel itself, if you are not familiar, is a British World War I biplane fighter. First saw action over the Western Front in 1917, and it first flew in 1916 and was retired in 1920. The pace of aircraft development was insane, actually, during this period. And now, even before the end of the war, like, the Camels had actually lost their actual edge as a fighter, and they got relegated to ground attack aircraft. So that's one of those things that just happened. But in terms of specs, this aircraft can cruise at around, flies at around 98 knots max. It'll stall around 42, range of about 300 miles, 260 nautical miles. Can theoretically get to 19,000 feet, but will you? I don't think so. She has 2 303 Vickers machine guns. So, the Bristol B2, I think, was one of the ones that actually surpassed it in terms of its role in combat. But that would be that. And they served in so many different squadrons, with Canada, Estonia, France, Greece, Latvia, Netherlands, Poland, Russian Empire, Soviet Union, the British, yes, notice the Russian Empire, Australia and Belgium. Everybody had them. Let's get on board and take a look at this thing, shall we? Now, I do, as this is 2020, have to go third person here. It's been a minute since I've had to do this. Now, Captain Sim does do really decent exterior models, I'll say that much. Including some aircraft where all he gives you is exterior model. So that's, you know, a thing. Oh god, ugly Avangel models back in the cockpit. Oh dear. So, yeah, visually, it's a pretty decent model, and that's the rotary engine there. Not a radial, a rotary, because that's the prop hub. This engine rotates from the back plate there. So the whole engine rotates with the propeller. The propeller is mounted to the engine rotates. In the housing, yeah, not the propeller rotating off the engine. That's an interesting design choice, but there you go. Now, looks decent, of course. We're not expecting brakes in here because it's World War I. This didn't have any, but it's nice to be able to see the aircraft and see what it could do, potentially. Let's pop inside. Now, we do not have wine bottles in this one, unfortunately, which I'm very disappointed by. I would have liked a nice bottle of brandy or gin. Would be a good replacement for the 303s. We should have sorted that out. Simple. Not much is actually clickable. It's a very simple aircraft. We've got the hand pump down here. Tank pressure hand pump. We have our... Those are, obviously, machine gun doodads. The action? Yes, the action. That's the word I'm looking for. Oh, these might actually be triggers, because I think the action's up there. The black ones you can't quite see. Right there. In fact, that probably makes sense. I'm not a World War I machine gun expert, but there doesn't seem to be any other triggers. That's not a trigger, that's the blip switch, which lets you stop the engine intermittently to reduce power. Like you heard British aircraft and aircraft in that period go bup, 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 as they come in. That's why. Yeah. So our tank pressure regulator knob. We have the trailing and leading magnetos. We have our oil pulsometer valve. We have down here our mixture. And we have our prop. Now, the downside is, obviously, this has to be externally prop started. There is no internal start mechanism. So what you have to do is Control E. Yeah, that's the official starting method of this aircraft. You can't grab it like you can with so many developers. And pull, which so many of the developers let you do, you have to hit Control E. So, for the sake of this, we'll go exterior and enjoy this a little bit. to at least hear it properly. And I need to adjust my head here to make sure this is actually sticking around. The sounds aren't awful. And you can see the engine rotating there in the housing. It's appropriately putty-putty. I do like that, although my head's sticking out the back of the cockpit. Now, this is in 2020. It flies in 2024. The pilot figure is one. It's a modern pilot, which kind of sucks. I'd like to have seen a World War I pilot figure. These are kind of aircraft exemptions where I don't mind having a fixed figure, by the way. Also, it bops around and doesn't sit still in 24. So, definitely glitches out already. So, our controls. Make sure everything's good to go here. Let's pop in the cockpit, and we're going to have to slew ourselves around because this is not an aircraft designed to be taxied. This is an aircraft that can basically just take off in the direction it's been pointed by the ground crew before they start it. So let's go putt up and away, shall we? Let's give Biggles a good show. Unlike when I did the Albatross video, I will not be cracking out a British version of Helga, because Helga was traumatizing enough for everybody. There we go. And she's actually got quite a lot of grunt compared to a lot of the other aircraft so far. And it could be Captain Sim's model, because I will say the Albatross is a bar for a decent quality World War I aircraft. That was a lot lacking in power. Now, the Camels were pretty good in that regard, but the Albatrosses later on were better. So I'm going to guess that this is probably on the overpowered side. I'm passing through 70 miles an hour right now. Now, the blip switch, by the way. Yeah, you don't do that too much, but it can help you reduce the power down. Now, obviously, we have a throttle here. Whether the original had a throttle, I'm not positive, because I'm pretty sure they had to blip it to slow it down. Because they couldn't quite adjust the power the same way. I may be wrong. No, there wouldn't be. There would they? There'd be a throttle. But I know the blip was for that purpose. Because obviously the machine guns here are synchronized. So that is a thing. So it shouldn't be a major problem. Which is not a bad aircraft. It's a World War I aircraft, so you're not expecting something crazily detailed either, because they're not a complicated aircraft. For the price that I paid, which is about $12, so we're talking about less than a tenner. Yeah, I'm going to say it, I'm actually not that bothered by this. This isn't a bad aircraft for £10. Can I go all the way over? No, probably not. I need to get some R2 before I even try that. Let's try and climb here. She's very stiff in the roll, but it's a biplane, so I'd expect a lot of lateral stability. Let's try and climb a little bit here, get some altitude. So yeah, it's visually quite nice, and I am not entirely positive how accurate the cockpit is, but it feels like it looks about right. The pictures I have seen. I haven't studied them extensively. I think you'll accept my apology there. That's our airspeed, by the way. The little propeller. Right, let's see if I can roll it all the way over here. No, we're not going to... Oh, God. We are every shape of upside down right now. That was not going to go nicely. Oh. We might crash. Just warning you. Oh, God. It's something. I mean, these aren't aircraft designed for aerobatics. Aerial combat was a very different beast in the Great War. It certainly feels like it flies like a World War I aircraft. That's all I can tell you. I have no experience of them, but it does feel World War I-y. It feels underpowered, it feels cumbersome, wobbly, a little bit... it's very different to a more modern aircraft. It's very different to anything from the 1930s even. Just the level of power difference is significant. There's our field there, so we're technically on a downwind here. See, I have got throttle to use. I'm not going to use the blip, because if you hold the blip too long, you will stall the engine out. And without anywhere to start it again, you are now a glider. No, she gets very stiff in the roll, which seems a little bit problematic, and that's a very small rudder back there. Imagine trying to aim these guns. Yes, they do not fire, by the way. Okay, let's bring her around here, set up for approach. Now, 45 is about our stall speed, so we want to stay above that. Power down to idle. This thing will cruise for days. Tons and tons of lift. Now, Captain Sim has a pretty rough reputation at times. They used to have a good time in FSX era. It really hasn't been a thing since 20 or 24. Oh, those are birds. Bugger. Are those static? I've never seen birds here before. Oh, missed the airfield. Right, we'll do a quick 270 this way. No more birds now, at least. Although I think one or two might have tried to become shredded tweet there. I just felt like a Spanish F-18. Like I say, they've had a rough reputation, but I think some of the World War I aircraft have been their better options. Now, the Heinkel 111 is not perfect by a long stretch, and I wish it was better because I like those aircraft. It's also the interior of a Spanish one rather than a Casa, rather than a World War II 111, where the panel was above, not in front of you. Okay, let's land this thing. But the World War I aircraft they've done have been pretty good, because we've not really had many World War I aircraft in the sim, generally. And so far, they've not done a terrible job. The SPAD was actually okay. Is it a touch on big radial SPAD? No. But for the price, it's not bad. And this isn't terrible. And it is nice having a Sopwith Camel again, given that the Sopwith Camel was one of the aircraft I used to fly in FS98 when I was a child. When little Avangel was playing on her mum's computer, flying Sopwith Camel and the Learjet and the Cessna out of Meigs Field in Chicago. I always want to say Megas, but it's not. It's Meigs. There we go, wheels are down. And of course, no brakes, so it's just a matter of hold on here and hope for the best. Still got some rudder authority, so I'll turn us off the runway here. Oh, I can actually taxi a bit because I've got prop wash over my engine or tail surfaces, and it actually gives me some steering ability, so that's not bad. Will I be able to park it? That's another matter entirely. We'll find out now. Actually, not terrible there. I should have actually taxied out because it would do it. Can I stop? No, that's a slight problem. I could turn. I just... Oh, don't hit anybody, please. Oh, I guess we're going over here. That's a steerman. Let's not hit him. Ooh, gonna... No, we're going to miss the wings. Fantastic. Oh, no, I can't stop again. That's the fence, that's the fence. No, bad fence, bad fence, bad fence, bad! We have damaged the fence and a priceless aircraft from the First World War. On that bombshell, do I think this old beast is worth it? Well, she's not worth it. And that's the best I can tell you. If you want to Sopwith Camel, for the price, it's really not bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. Let's be brutally honest as possible here. Let me take this out of the fence for you so you don't have to look at such a terrible travesty. Is this aircraft worth spending money on compared to Airplane Heaven with some of their releases? Yes. I would say so. Yes. Texture quality wise, way higher. Flight model feels like it should be around like this, and most things on it that say they work do work. It doesn't port well into 2024, but I'm sure somebody will fix the contact points to stop it from bouncing. At that point, it's not an awful aircraft for some First World War flying. I'm trying to be as balanced as possible here and say that, yeah, it's actually, for the money, not bad. Not good, but not bad. Bombshell, thank you for watching. Bye.